Your images suck. They look horrible, and you don't know why. You've gone out, you bought a great camera body. You bought some amazing lenses. You went out and taken courses on photography. You've learned your equipment inside and out, but your pictures still don't look perfect. They just don't have the impact that other people's pictures have. What could be causing this? Well, one of the big things I see is a lot of people don't crop their images correctly, whether they're cropping them when taking the picture or whether they're cropping them afterwards. And this is a huge problem. And in this video, we're going to talk about 5 things that you can do to improve your photography and make your photography look the best it can. But first, who am I? My name is Mike Patterson, and I've been a professional full-time photographer here in Western Canada for over 39 years. I make my living exclusively from photography, and I have done so for over 39 years. I've shot weddings, I've shot families, commercial, I've worked for magazines and newspapers. I do my nature and wildlife, and that's what I do. In addition to that, I also own and operate a full-service photo lab. I print for amateurs to professionals, and I see a lot of mistakes from these people. And in my videos, I help you to get better pictures by taking their mistakes and telling you how to not make them. So if you like my channel, click on the subscribe button down below. If you like this video, click on the like button, and let's get into it. So what are 5 mistakes that a lot of people make when they're taking pictures? Well, it's pretty much the same mistakes over and over again. People just, they make it in different ways. The first one, and it's a big one, and that is people spend so much time trying to get the perfect cropping in camera that they don't get a good picture. I'm not saying don't crop as good as you can when taking the picture. I'm not saying use the wrong lens. I'm not saying just shoot whatever and crop afterwards and it'll look perfect. It doesn't work that way. You want to try to get your image as close as possible, as nice as you can when you're taking it, and then in post-production, you finish the cropping. You make it look the best you can in post-production. I've had the issue so many times, but the funniest one and the one that sticks to my mind the best was a number of years ago. I was shooting a wedding. We were supposed to get in the church at 12:30. The previous wedding was supposed to be done. Our wedding was supposed to start at 1 o'clock. At 1:30, the side door of the church, it flew open. You could hear the door hit the cement, and out comes the minister. The minister was furious. The minister was absolutely, smoke was coming out of his ears. He came out, he looked around, he saw me standing there with my camera and my gear, and he beelined for me, and I got verbally leveled. He was upset. I had no clue. I had absolutely no clue what went on. I was thinking that I did something wrong. He screamed at me for a bit, giving me a bunch of rules and stuff that didn't even make sense. And then he turned to the wedding couple, and they were standing there together. And he says, "I'm really sorry." And he explained that the wedding went long and this and that. And then he went storming back into the church. And we all sort of looked at one another and went, huh? Well, 15 minutes later, the wedding had cleared out that was before us. We went in the church, and the church wedding associate, whatever you want to call it, that helps with the weddings there, came up to me and explained what had happened. The previous photographers had stopped the wedding ceremony several times so they could reposition, so they could change their lenses, so they could crop the perfect in-camera picture, and they ruined the wedding for the couple. They actually got to the point that the wedding couple actually told them to stop interrupting the ceremony. It was that bad. I was flabbergasted. As it was, the minister came up to me later and apologized to me. He was just shaken. He says he had never had anything like that happen. And I understand why he was so upset. It's not acceptable. There's just so much you can do when you're taking the picture to make it look perfect. That's not one of them. So don't worry if your picture's a little bit off. Don't worry if you're shooting with a 38 millimeter lens, but you needed a 40. If you needed a 50. It doesn't make that much difference. You can crop afterwards. With the digital cameras that we have today, there's lots of room to crop without losing the image quality as long as we're close. I'm not saying go stupid wide. I'm not saying shoot everything with a 10 millimeter and crop from there. But just like, don't worry about in camera so much. Do it afterwards. All right, number 2. And this is when you're shooting your pictures. Don't shoot so tight that you are getting some of the subject cropped off when you're taking the picture. Now, I know we can clone backgrounds. I know we can use AI to add stuff to pictures, but we shouldn't have to. And most people don't do it. They shoot too tight and they accept the picture as being the best it can be. And it's not. It was ruined because you shot too tight. Don't shoot it so tight that, well, you're cutting off what's important in the picture. Perfect example, sitting just behind my camera is a picture of an owl. The whole picture of this owl is a picture of the owl is sitting out in the field. There's a rock beside him and there's some wet plants around him. That's the picture of the owl. I can crop into just the owl. I can make it look like it's just an owl picture. But I lose the wetness. I lose the look of the field. I lose where the subject is. So don't crop so tight that you're losing the purpose of the picture. All right, the next thing, and this is again in camera. Don't shoot stupid wide all the time. Know what your subject is. Get in close enough to your subject that your subject is, well, usable. But don't go so wide that it's like totally ridiculous. Another example. A number of years ago, I worked for a local newspaper. I was a part-time photographer with them called a stringer. I was in the photo area when the phone rang. It was the graphics department. A person who I actually knew was on the other end and says, "Who shot this picture?" I says, I don't know. I can't tell you. He says, "This image is horrible. It's the worst image I've ever seen." And I went, "I don't know anything about it." Well, a few minutes later, they came into the photo area with a printout of this image. And I looked at it and went, oh. Now, you got to understand, our photo studio at the newspaper was about the size of a standard bathroom. It was tiny. Had a backdrop on one end. It had a couple lights on the other end. That was it. The subject and the photographer were pretty darn close when they were standing in that room. There wasn't a lot of space. Whoever shot this picture, first of all, it was a headshot, shot it horizontal. Well, okay, not the best, but it can be usable, except they shot it with what must have been a 10 millimeter lens or maybe an 8 millimeter lens, because the subject was this tiny little speck in the bottom corner of this frame. And the graphics department was expected to crop this person into a headshot and enlarge it to go in a half-page newspaper ad. He says it can't be done. Just can't be done. It was a ruined image. There was no reason to have even shot the image. They had to call the customer in, have it reshot by one of us, the photographers that knew what we were doing, before they could use it. So don't shoot stupid wide when you're taking pictures either. All right, the next one. And this is similar to the first two, but it's when you're doing your post-production, when you're using Photoshop to crop. Crop it correctly. Crop it so that it's still a usable image. I see it constantly. Customers sending me in an image of, let's say, a wedding party. And there's somebody on one side and somebody on the other side that's right on the edge of the digital file. Well, by the time I print that, I've now cropped off a little bit more of them. By the time I frame that, a little bit more of them's got cropped off. So in the one instance where it was a wedding party, I contacted the photographer and told them this. They didn't believe me. They finally sent me a couple hours later another image where it was cropped a lot wider and there was space around them. When they came in to pick it up, I says, "Did you crop this?" They go, "Oh, yeah." I said, "Well, why would you crop it so tight?" "Well, I thought it looked good that way." No. Don't crop stuff in post-production that you're ruining the reason for the image in the first place. Another example. I had this bride. It was a beautiful picture of a bride. Really beautiful picture. There's some grass coming up by her dress, and that was it. And I'm like, okay, well, could have been a lot better picture. It could have been. Well, the person came in to pick it up and they looked at it and they went, that's not the image that I wanted. I said, well, that's the image that your photographer sent me. They said, no, that's not the image. Well, a couple days later, they sent me the image. And here's a bride standing in a beautiful wheat field with a sunset behind her. And the photographer decided just to crop to her because they thought, well, they must just want the bride. No, think about what your picture is before you do the cropping. And finally, the last one, and this is another big one. Think about the purpose of the picture when you're cropping it or when you're shooting it. Another example. A customer of mine had a really nice picture. They got contacted by a magazine, an international magazine, and the magazine wanted the image. So the photographer went, cropped the image, and sent it to them. But they wanted it as a cover shot on their magazine, which is vertical. They cropped it as a long horizontal picture. They actually made it more of a panoramic than it originally ever was. And the magazine contacted him and says, I'm sorry, we can't use this. And he says, well, that's what I would like. That's the proportion that I like. And they says, but we need a vertical shot for our magazine. Oh, I never thought of that. He tried recropping it a few times. Finally, the magazine gave up on him and says, no, sorry, we'll go with somebody else. Think about the purpose when you're cropping, whether in camera or whether it's in Photoshop, whether it's in whatever editing program. Think about the purpose. Think about what it's going to be used for. See a lot of people that post on Facebook. They post a vertical picture. Oh, it looks great on Facebook. Blah, blah, blah. They go to post it on Instagram, and Instagram goes, well, you have to crop it because we don't allow that proportion. Oh. I see a lot of people who will come in and they'll get a picture printed and then they go to try to find a frame for it. And they say, well, we can't find a cheap frame for it. Well, no, you can't, not at that size. If you're a photographer and you're doing an art show, it makes no difference if you're going to have all your stuff custom framed, what size you print. It makes no difference. If you're submitting that file to one of your clients and they want to have it printed and framed and they don't want to spend $3,000 on a custom frame at that size, you need to make sure that you're sending it into a size that works for them. Talk to them, ask them, figure out what they want it used for. Only by doing that can you make your images look the best they can. So until next time, have a great day. Take some amazing pictures, but make sure they're being cropped correctly, whether it's in camera or in your post-production, and your pictures will look so much better. Get out there, take some pictures, and enjoy doing it. Bye-bye now.